Blackburn Rovers head into this weekend's action 1 point off the playoff spots, but standing in their way will be Wayne Rooney FC. Will it be a nightmare for the Rams or Rovers? Next!
Right, folks, back once again with another match. We look forward to Blackburn Rovers visit to Pride Park. That's right, Derby County. That's coming at you this weekend, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Of course, if you're new, hey, you big boys, smash your subscribe and get your bang out today with all things Blackburn Rovers related, Championship related, World Football related. We're going to know here, boys. Under one brewski. That's right, of course, Rovers within touching distance of getting into the playoffs, heading into the month of November. Of course, can we actually do it? Well, that's a different story. We'll take a look at that, and of course, more interesting. A big shout out to my VRPs. They are the Patreons, boys and girls. Thank you for your continued support as we try to kick on forward another level. So let's get into it and talk about the game. It does take place this coming Saturday. We will have a watch along, of course, as we do this weekend. No pressure for Rovers, no pressure for me. We look forward to this one. That's right, Derby host us. Of course, Derby are actually, despite their situation in the table, of course, are a difficult team to beat. Let's take a little look at Derby County. Of course, they do play their football right here at Pride Park Stadium, of course, which holds on about 33,600 people. Their gaffer, no questions. As of course, Wayne Rooney FC, their captain, I don't even know. Of course, I need to be told about maybe Davis. I don't know. If you are a Derby fan, let me know down below. Of course, I don't know. I should have really, but probably done a bit more research. But of course, this was made at the start of the season. Of course, the nearest distance they'll have to travel, of course, will be Forest. Of course, I think they've played them already this season. Of course, the most distance off the travel against Bournemouth. Last time around, they finished 21st on the skins of their teeth to avoid relegation. And you know what? They're not. Despite the predicament right now, they are grinding out results, and they can actually do this and might even survive. However, the odds for them to get promoted as champions at the start of the season, multiple 50 to 1. My prediction is, of course, 24th. I don't think they'll do it deep down, but they are doing it. They are doing things the hard way. And of course, any other EFL review to any points deduction, that might give them a big old boost. But we'll look at the table in a minute. We'll do the maths, of course, and actually judge them on their form in a minute. Let's take a look. There's, of course, their recent record. Then coming into this one, of course, coming into this on the back of 4 straight draws. Of course, unbeaten. In fact, the last 5 games. So Derby coming to this with a bit of a spring in their step. Of course, a draw with Coventry last round, of course, 1-1. They did draw with Luton Town 2-2. A 0-0 there as well, alongside against Preston, of course, and also a 0-0 against Swansea. They did beat Reading, as did we, of course, last time around. But of course, this time they'll come out against Rovers. The top goal scorer, though, this is where it gets a little bit weird. Of course, not many guys are standing up to be counted for in regards to goals. Curtis Davis is your top goal scorer there, alongside Tom Lawrence with 2. Paul Seifert got 1. Bulldog's got 1 as well. As for the yellows, of course, Brendan's got himself, or Brown's got himself 5 yellows, Shin's got 4, Morrison and Sibley also have 4. Roos has got 1 red to his name. Take a look at my expected starting lineup on this one. Of course, there are some anomalies here that could, of course, come in and change it up. Roos between the sticks. He may or may not be there. I don't know when he got that red card. He did play last time around, so I do anticipate him to start this round. Buchanan on the left-hand side, we've got Byrne on the right. Davies and Jagielka make up an experienced back 4, of course. Maybe a little bit of age in that back. Those 2 centre-backs, of course, could be exploited by a rapid Tyrese Dolan or something like that. As for Shinnie, Bird and Morrison, they make up the midfield trio. That's, of course, Ravel. Just Avatovic on the left-hand side, Ibose on the right, Tom Lawrence down the middle. But you could see Kazim Richards, of course, ex-Rover up there. You could also see Lewis Sibley involved as well. So they've got some other players that usually warrant a spot, but of course probably have to, of course, justify their reasonings to be in this team. Of course, following on this one, of course, midweek action next week against Barnsley. That is, of course, on the 3rd of November. Of course, kicking off forward, it'll be, of course, then Millwall going down to London for them. Of course, that will then host Bournemouth on the 21st of November. Kicking off forward again, Fulham, difficult match for them as well on the road. And then finally, on the 5-game stretch, of course, the month of November will be completed up against QPR. That's right, at Pride Park. As for their opposition, and of course, my beloved Blackburn Rovers, of course, usually play their football at Ewood Park. Of course, 31,367 can attend that games, of course, on the given day. Mowbray is our manager, of course. Darrell Lennon is our captain. And of course, the nearest match for us, for the away day fans, will be up against Preston North End. The most distance off the travel will be against Bournemouth. Last time we did finish 15th. My prediction is 10th, and the odds to get promoted as champions was 20 to 1. This is our recent resume. Coming into this on the back of a win, of course, a much needed win. Prior to that, though, we hadn't won in at least 4 games, so not the greatest resume. Our away form is not brilliant either. Back-to-back 3 defeats on the spin. Well, I'll show you why that puts us in the old form table in a minute. Of course, the goal scorers, though, of course, the honour goes to Big Baba Brereton Diaz with, of course, 10 goals this season so far. Gallagher's got 5, Dolan's got 4, and Ayala's got 2. As for the yellow squad, Buckley's got 4 to his name, Ayala 3, Dolan's got 3, and Gallagher's got 2 as well. Travis, no, not in there, not even in there. Of course, Carter, though, has picked up the one only red for Rovers. Of course, this is my expected lineup now. It picks itself, really. The only question or the only difference will be left back now. Of course, we're Kaminsky between 6. Left back, I've got Taylor Dunn, who I think has been phenomenal since he's arrived from Lincoln City at a bargain peanut signing. He could play at left back, he could play in midfield. So if Pickering is fit and raring to go, he might come back in here. But what I saw for Taylor Dunn in the last match against Reading, I don't know why we would drop him. I thought he played himself into that team, and at the moment Pickering's got to get himself back into that team. So Taylor Dunn, fantastic on the left hand side. Of course, into midfield, the midfield trio, the rest of the back line there, Lennon, Ayala and Nyami again. If all fit and raring to go, that is a good back 3 there, and of course the left back makes it a back 4. So it was a good unit. They understand each other and they do all work. They all know their roles. So that could be massive. Same could be said for the midfield trio, of course. Whenever Dacarino comes back, of course, that'll be probably start of next year. Where does he fit in this team? I don't even know. We got Buckley, Travis, and Rothwell. For me, that also picks itself. Even when everyone's fit and raring to go, your Bradley Johnsons, your Rankin Costellos, where on earth do they fit in? Of course, Bradley Johnson has made some cameos from the bench. And of course, I think maybe he's kind of resigned to the fact that he will be a super sub for the time being. Moving forward, of course, Diaz on the left hand side, Gallagher on the right, and Dolan all scoring goals, which is fantastic. Of course, Diaz has got 10, and combined Dolan and Gallagher, they're 9 together as well. So you know what, we're slowly rectifying or replacing the goals that Adam Armstrong has, of course, he provided last season. Of course, heading into this one, this is the resume for Rovers. It doesn't get much nice after this. Back-to-back home games, back-to-back challenges, of course, up against Fulham and Sheffield United, of course, 2 teams that I anticipate to be in that top 4 at the end of the season. I know Fulham are doing well right now. Sheffield United, of course, are floating around in mid-table, but of course, I think they will click the gear and eventually steam up that table. Then, of course, a difficult away game against Bristol City, thrashed in gate. Then we'll take on Peterborough and Ewood before we wrap it up the month of November up against Stoke City this Friday, of course. Now, I'm trying to see if we can do a watch-off for this Fulham game. I really would want to do it. To see what is on the agenda there. Kicking on forward though, let's take a look at some stats then, some figures. Of course, Rovers on the right hand side, and we've got Derby on the left. Of course, possession wise, 43% of all of Derby's possession is in the middle third, 25% going forward, 32% going back. As for Rovers, 41% of all of our possession is in the middle. Of course, 30% is in our own defensive third, and 29% is going forward. As for when we do have the ball, Rovers again on the right hand side, 41% of all of our possession coming down the right, 34% is down the left, and 25% down the middle. As for Derby, they prefer the other side, they prefer the left hand side, 44% of all their possession coming down the left, 29% down the right, 27% down the middle. So that means Nyami is going to be on his tippy toes, as Buchanan, I believe, for Derby County. As for the shots then, of course, Derby, 48% of all their shots inside the 18-yard box, 5% in that Scrappy W area, 47% of their shots long-range cookies. As to Rovers, we prefer inside the box, of course, 62% of all of our shots inside the box there, of course, 6% in that Scrappy W Bradley Dack zone, I call it, and of course 32% long rangers as well. As for the shot direction, 62% of all of Derby shots come down the middle, 21% down the left, and 17% down the right. Rovers also prefer down the middle, 69% of all the time, of course, 18% down the left. Of course, Diaz maybe down that flank, of course, and 13% down the right. As for, of course, the recent form then, of course, Derby's home form coming into this one looks pretty good. Just 2 wins though, the past 6, if you want to make it sound a little bit more doable for Rovers. However, they're unbeaten, it appears, since all the way back in the middle of August. So it's 4 unbeaten last 6. 2 wins and 4 draws. As for Rovers though, we haven't won since Forest on the road. So we used to be accredited or commandeered for our away form, but we haven't picked up anything in the last 3, of course. So 3 defeats on the spin for Rovers, not great form. We need to change that stat. Of course, speaking of stats, of course, we have played Derby 27 times since 1996. 11 wins for Rovers, 9 wins for Derby, and 7 draws. The biggest win for Derby was a 3-0 win. The biggest win was a 4-0 win. And as you can see, the stats there, of course, in all competitions show just 1 win in 6, though, for Derby. So that's some food for thought. 50% form for Derby. As for Rovers, 42% form. Of course, just one loss in the past 3 games if you want to spin it that way for Blackburn Rovers. Of course, let's take a look at then. Of course, the recent encounters then over the last 6. The last 6 both home and away. Of course, Rovers pick up 4 wins. Derby just a 1, and there's been 1 draw. Of course, last time around we did the double of them, and of course we did an impressive 4-0 demolition of them at their own turf, with Bradley Johnson with a couple of goals to himself there. Adam Armstrong and Tyree Stolen as well. Also, we beat them at Ewood Park with Sam G and Harvey Edit on the score sheet. However, turn the clock back a little bit further. Of course, the last game before the old COVID hit, we got spanked by Derby. Lewis Sibley, Chris Martin with a brace in a game that lasted long in the tooth, because that was the last game. We had to chew on that for a couple of months before we got back to football in action. Take a look at the last 6 then at Pride Park. Of course, Rovers winning 2, Derby winning 3, and there's been 1 draw. Of course, Rovers just won actually Derby just won once at the past 4 matches between these 2 sides. Let's take a look at the goals then for both these 2 sides. Of course, coming at you, Derby just scored 10 so far this season, 6 through open play, 3 set pieces, 1 counter attacks, and of course that's pretty much the tail of the tape. They've had around about 10 shots per game, with a conversion rate of 7% for Derby County. As for Rovers though, 23 goals this season, 14 through open play, 4 set pieces, 2 counter attacks, and 3 penalties, with a conversion rate of 15%, 10.7 shots per game, just slightly better than that of Derby, but picking up around about 1.6 goals a game. We'll look at that in a bit more detail in a minute. As for the goals conceded, 11 goals from Derby. Let's go back to that stat. So they've scored 10, conceded 11. Is that right? I think that's right. As for, of course, Rovers conceded 17 goals so far this season, 14 through open play, 1 set piece, 1 counter attack, and 1 OG. As Derby's conceded goals, they've given away 2 penalties, 1 counter attack, 2 set pieces, and 6 through open play. They, on average, receive around about 13.6 shots per game. We receive around 12.4. Conversion rate of 5% for goals conceded. As for Rovers, 9% of all goals going, or shots going in the back of the net. Let's take a look at a bit more detail then, shall we? Of course, these 2 sides, they played each other, but of course, played 14 games this season on average, around about 1 goal a game for Derby, both home and away. Rovers on average around about 2 goals, both home and away. On average, picking up around about 11 shots per game compared to their 10, and of course, both sides picking up around about 2 yellow cards a match as well, and also 4 corners, 10 fouls, 2 offsides. It's pretty much carbon copy. The only deciding factor is that Rovers are scoring more going forward. As for the aerial success rate, that goes in favour of Rovers, 50% going for them compared to Derby's 43. Derby are more possession-based side compared to Rovers, and of course better with their passing as well. But Rovers' average rating, of course, per player is better than Derby's. So let's take a look at their home versus our away now. Of course, they played 7 games at home. Of course, we played 7 games on the road. Picking around 1 goal a game each. Of course, they average more goals or more shots per match at home at Pride Park compared to Rovers on the road. And again, most of the stats go in favour, maybe against. If you want to look at it, 3 yellows compared to our 2 yellows. They pick up around about 5 corners at Derby Park, Pride Park. I'm all over the place. 12 fouls as well, and again they dominate possession and pass success rate, where Rovers dominate the aerial duels. Let's take a look then, shall we? Of course, the tail of the tape. Now this, of course, what is the meat of the matter? When you take all that that's been mentioned earlier, this is what it boils down to. Derby's strengths are counter attacks. That's it. Game over, nothing else in that box. As for their weaknesses, those scoring chances, of course, defending set pieces, aerial duels, avoiding individual errors, and avoiding fouling in dangerous areas. Their style play is attacking down the left, taking long shots, playing in their own half, rotate their first 11, and being very, very aggressive. As for Rovers' strengths, though, we're also pretty strong in counter attacks, finishing scoring chances, creating long shot opportunities, creating chances through individual business skill, and of course, creating scoring chances. As for defending, our set pieces is also one of our strengths, stealing the ball from the opposition, also pretty savvy. Our weaknesses, though, avoiding offside, protecting the lead. Of course, we've seen that in quite recent matches, defending against attacks down the wing to keep possession of the ball, and defending against long shots. We do like to take a lot of shots, long shots as well, attacking through the middle, also preferring down the right hand side. We do have a consistent first 11, and we also allow our opponents to play aggressively against us. Derby will be shown a high number of cards, and Rovers will score from a result of an opposition bit of an error. Let's take a look. Let's show, of course, the journey for Derby. Of course, they've been down there, and they've been down there for the whole season, and for the most part, I think most people around the footballing universe will say that they're probably going to end up route to the table. But of course, they are grinding out results. We'll look at the table in all its glory in just 1 second. As for Rovers, we've been on a bit of a journey ourselves, all over the table. Of course, we're languishing now in 12th spot. But of course, when you see the table, you just look how tight it is in that middle of the pack. Then let's take a look at the form stats. Of course, the last 6 games, Derby are down into 17th, picking up 7 points from a possible 18. Rovers also 7 points from a possible 18, but we're in 15th. I think our goal difference has given us a big old boost in that department. As for the home form, Derby sitting 15th. Of course, that's where we're looking at. Just 2 wins though the past 6 games at home. However, no defeats in the last 6. As for Rovers, we don't really care about the home form, but we are actually above Derby in that regard. We're looking at Rovers away form, which of course is represented here. We're around about 15th, of course. Just 1 win and 6 on the road. 5 points on a possible 18, of course, at the moment. Let's, of course, take a look at the tables around the grounds then, shall we? Of course, the best possession-based side is Swansea at the moment. Sheffield United also up there as well with Fulham. Keep your eye on Bournemouth. That's the most aggressive. That still is Middlesbrough, 35 yellows, 2 red cards. With Derby not too far away as well, 31 yellows, 1 red card as well. Barnsley, and then Rovers up there in the top 5 as well. That's the most aerial duels won. That goes in favour of Stoke. Cardiff are in second, of course. Millwall third. Borough and then QPR. Shots per game go in favour of Millwall, 16.7 shots per game. West Brom 15.6. QPR, Coventry and Borough make up the Power 5. As for the best pass success rate, of course, that goes in favour of Swansea, 84.6% success rate with Fulham, Sheffield United, QPR and Bournemouth make up your Power 5. Let's take a look at what else is going to go on this weekend then, shall we? Of course, QPR will entertain Forest on the early kickoff. That is, of course, on Friday. The earlier kickoff on Saturday will be Fulham against West Brom. Of course, Hull City against Coventry City, of course. Bristol City against Barnsley. Huddersfield against Millwall, of course. Middlesbrough against Birmingham. Preston against Luton Town. Sheffield United against Blackburn. Stoke against Cardiff. Swansea against Peterborough. And, of course, Derby County up against Wayne Rooney FC up against Blackburn Bloody Rovers. Of course, Reading will entertain Bournemouth. Well, that is correct. That is this weekend's action. Of course, this is the table as it stands. And actually, you can see Derby do have a record of 3, 6, 9 plus 8 draws. So 9 plus 8 is 17 points. They would, in theory, be around about 14th, 15th for the table, something like that. Rovers are in 12th. And a win for Rovers, though, and everything else goes our way, we could actually end up in 5th. And a win for Derby, they could actually go above Barnsley to 23rd, which would put a right ball kick in their armour as well. So, you know what, if they do get that win, if Derby do get this win, you know what, they are not too far away of getting themselves out of the relegation. The form of Hull, the form of Cardiff as well. So it would actually make it quite a lively relegation battle at the table. Of course, Reading also got a points deduction, I think, looming. Of course, we'll have to see that pan out as well. There might be some other ones as well, facing some financial irregularities, which of course could cause some points deduction as well. But anyway, that's the situation at the moment in the table. This is the situation at the top of the table. Of course, goal scoring charts. Mitrovic is starting to break away. 15 goals so far this season. He is the Norwich City of bloody Championship players. He's too good for the Championship. He's too shit for the Premier League. He's got 15 goals this season. Burton Diaz is up there in second spot with Dominic Solanke, who's kicked in the top gear. Also double digits for him. And of course, the chasing pack with, of course, Gayorka, Swift, Adebayo, Grant, Pirro, Cordic, and Chair. As for the most assists, Thomas Stildes, Charles 7 there of him. Swifty Boy, Wilson, Gillis, and Christie. Make up your top 5 there. As for, of course, my prediction for this game, it could go either way. It really could go either way. But I'm going to go with a 3-1 win for Rovers. Of course, if we can get our goal scoring boots on, we of course could repeat a similar scoreline to that of last year. But of course, Derby have been grinding out the results. They are unbeaten, of course, and it all depends who gets that first goal. If Derby do get the first goal, it could be 1 or 2-0 in favour of Derby, and then we might, of course, struggle to get back into this one. But Rovers have a bit of bite in them. They've got a bit of fight as well. Not only can we throw a game away, but we can also fight back. We've seen it a couple of times as well. So hopefully Rovers will not be in a bit of trouble, and hopefully we can win out this game quite comfortably. And of course, we'll have the watch along right here at Blackburn Rovers, so make sure you come back for that one. But until then, give us some love, and smash your thumbs up, smash your subscribe, check the links down below on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, and of course Patreon as well. But until then, give us some love, and of course I'll see you soon whenever we come around. But until then, we get it done.